I spent years of my life trying to avoid conversations because my heart would race and my mind would go blank. Every time someone approached me, I'd have this overwhelming sense to perform, like I had to say something perfect or they'd judge me. But then I discovered something that changed everything. I did not need to force myself to be outgoing. The real secret to confidence in conversation comes down to practice and a few techniques. And these are things that anybody can learn, even if you are shy or naturally introverted. For me, I am what they call an ambivert, which is basically when you are halfway between an introvert and an extrovert. Basically, I'm extroverted around the right people, but I have a limited social battery. So I have my time that I enjoy being around people, but then I also equally love my time by myself as well. Now, even though that is how I am now, I used to be a lot more introverted. So just know that whether you're introverted, extroverted, or in between, then this video should help. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Carys, and this is where we talk about how to elevate your life, unlock your full potential, and become the highest and best version of yourself. Now, before we get going, talking about how to be more confident in conversations, there is around 80% of you who watch my channel and are not subscribed. So if you're one of those people and you do enjoy watching my content, then please hit the subscribe button because it really helps support this channel. Okay, the first thing that we're going to get started with is the self-analysis, because if you watch my videos, you know I'm all about being self-aware. Have you ever wondered how some people are naturally outgoing and can talk to anyone, and then you get some others that freeze in social situations and tend to feel uncomfortable? Well, if that was someone like you, then don't worry, it's not your personality. It's not that you were born less confident than other people. It's all about understanding specific conversation barriers. Here's the problem. Most people don't actually identify what makes them uncomfortable in situations. You feel this general anxiety and feeling uncomfortable, and then you just say, oh, well, I'm shy or introverted. Yeah, I used to do that too. But what you need to do is understand what is really holding you back, because once you identify it, you can then break through it and move forward. So let's break down the why. There are typically three most common conversation barriers. The first one is performance anxiety. This shows up when you are constantly worried about being judged negatively by other people during your conversations. You might feel physically tense, your heart races, your face turns red, and you're hyper aware of how you are coming across. The problem isn't that you don't know what you want to say, it's that you're overthinking every word that's coming out of your mouth. On the other hand, the second type is content anxiety. Now that one is that you don't know what to say. You fear the awkward silences, and sometimes you may panic because you don't know what to say next. Your mind may go blank and you struggle to figure out how to keep a conversation flowing. The third type is identity anxiety. This occurs when you feel fake or inauthentic during conversations. You might catch yourself acting differently around different people, or maybe you're using a voice that isn't actually your voice, or agreeing with opinions that you don't actually agree with. The stress comes from being disconnected from your authentic self during social interactions. So if you haven't already, how do you figure out your primary barrier? Think about your last awkward conversation. Were you more worried about being perceived? Performance anxiety. Were you panicking on what to say next? Content anxiety. Did you feel like you were playing a role rather than being yourself? Identity anxiety. Try to define where you are struggling when you are having conversations. And just know it could be more than one. Don't worry, I was the same way. Understanding your barrier is the first step. But what happens when your brain knows what to say, but your mouth can't keep up? I discovered this the hard way. When I first moved to America, I had an extremely strong Scottish accent. I constantly had to repeat myself, and I was always told to slow down because people could not understand a word that I was saying. But here's the thing, the solution wasn't in my head. It was in my vocal muscles. I struggled to actually pronounce my words. Because I was constantly told that people couldn't understand me, I began to feel embarrassed, and it stopped me from actually wanting to speak up at all. But here's the thing that changed for me. It wasn't about me speaking less, it was about me learning to speak in a different way. Now, yes, my accent sounds very different, but that is from moving back and forth to America and actually working on my communication to pronounce words properly. One of the things that helped me drastically was speaking aloud by myself. I began to read books, and I can read fast, but when I needed to speak out loud, I had to slow things down. And the science behind it is fascinating. When you regularly read out loud, you're strengthening the neural pathways that get used during spontaneous conversation. This practice enhances both your fluency and your confidence when you are speaking. Your brain literally becomes better at forming words and expressing thoughts when you train it consistently. So if you don't already, take time to read every day. And it can be just as little as 5-10 minutes, and it will drastically improve your communication, the way you sound, your pronunciation, and your confidence. I have made drastic improvements over the years, and I still work on it every day. When I do my Bible study in the morning, I actually read out loud and I over pronunciate my words because it helps me train my vocal muscles early in the morning. Now you're working on training your vocal muscles, let's get into some of the fun things. Let's talk about some techniques that will help you be more confident in conversations. First things first, you need to stop filling in the silence. Every time you rush to fill in a silence within a conversation, it gives off that you are feeling uncomfortable and potentially insecure. The psychology around the pause is amazing because when you hold a deliberate pause, it gives off the impression that you are in full control of this conversation. It gives weight to what you are saying. So next time you are in conversation with people, I want you to think purposely about giving deliberate pauses, or someone asks your opinion. I want you to pause 2, 3, and then give your information or your answer. It will make the other person think that what you are about to say is important, and it will also allow you to gather your thoughts to be able to speak what you want to say without using filler words or your mind going off on a tangent. The next thing is your posture. Your body language is crucial. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin up a little bit, and exude confidence. If you are closed off, arms folded, your head is down, you are signaling to your brain that you are uncomfortable. If you are in a situation where you can ideally be holding a drink, do so, because oftentimes we don't know what to do with our hands, and then that makes us feel uncomfortable. Next is using somebody's name in conversation. I talk about that's my summary. And what it did is it made me realize that when you are in conversation, the best way that you can have chance to connect with this other person is to ask them about themselves. Dig into what they say. Have a genuine care about the things that's going on with their lives. Ask them about their family. The acronym that often will help with this is FORD. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. People love to talk about those 4 things, so ask people about those when you're in conversations. The more that I practiced having these conversations and asking people about themselves, it allowed me to be more confident because I was genuinely intrigued and caring about what the other person was saying. Oh, and lastly, eye contact, eye contact, eye contact can feel uncomfortable to start, but really helps. And also active listening. Thoughtful nods, yes, wow, things like that. When you're actively listening to another person, it helps you get out of your own head and actually focus on what the other person is saying. The next thing that I want to talk about is reframing your inner critic. I know, we've all walked away from conversations thinking, oh, I should have said this, or I shouldn't have said this, or did I sound stupid when I said that? We've all done it. But there is power in being able to switch from looking at your conversations that you have with a negative mindset into positive feedback with yourself. Instead of leaving a conversation and thinking, oh, I always mess up in conversations, I should have said that. Instead, say, okay, that conversation didn't go how I expected. However, each conversation I have is a chance for me to learn and improve my skills. Your goal is reflection without judgment. Think of it that you're not critiquing the performance, you're collecting data. the more and more self-aware that you can become, the better. You're not just gonna finish this video and like that, suddenly you are amazing at having conversations with people. This takes work and it takes practice. But just like everything, the more you practice, the better you get. Okay, your homework for today. There's 3 things I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to identify what your conversation barrier is. And I want you to leave it in the comments below because I can make separate videos showing you specifically for that one how to overcome it in different ways. Number 2, exposure. I want you to gradually face more challenging conversations. It could start small. Maybe you're going to order coffee. Think about the different things that we spoke about. Pause. Using someone's name, body language, and then you're going to build it up to something like a networking event. The graduated exposure technique will help you because it desensitizes you from the anxiety through repeated manageable challenges. And the third thing is that when you are facing these conversations, every time you leave one for the next week, I want you to sit and reflect. Was there anything that could be done to improve? See it in a positive way. See it in a way that you can learn something about yourself and how you can improve. We're changing our inner critic into being a positivity coach. Maintain the insights while eliminating emotional damage. Lastly, I just want to mention that anxiety and excitement have very similar feelings in our body and our brain. Your heart is racing, you may get butterflies in your stomach, sweaty palms. You get those same feelings in both. So you can choose to reframe your anxious feelings into excitement. It's all about how you choose your brain to interpret those signals that you're having. Alright, I hope this video helped you in order to feel more confident in conversations. If you enjoyed this video, then you will enjoy this one next. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.